Welcome to Art and Style. I'm Leslie Mueller. Are you interested in new trends? Do you like to fill your creative well, or would you just like to boost your spirit? The antique market in Brimfield, Massachusetts is a must-see. In 1789, it was put on the map by George Washington. He actually set up a platform down the road and gave a speech. It all started in 1959 when the Reed family, who lives just down the road this way, decided to open their field to a couple antique dealers. Today, Brimfield is known throughout the world as the Mecca of collectibles. There's no better place to start a shopping and antiquing tour than right here. If you're looking for antiques, garden pieces, primitive pieces, tribal textiles, anything you can think of, I bet there's a dealer here that can offer it to you. So we have a lot of ground to cover, so let's get cracking. Okay, so you've made the decision that you're going to go to one of these outdoor markets. You got to remember, your vehicle becomes your home for the day or two that you're there. If you're lucky enough to stay overnight, you can put a lot of stuff in the car. If you're just going for the day, be aware that you may want to bring a canvas or something, because if you're buying things and throwing them back in your car, you may just want to keep it out of sight, so to speak. So the first thing you want to do is you have to buy a car that has some room. You can also lease a car. I've actually, leased a big van before when I knew I was going to be buying a lot of things. And that's not a bad idea to do. But if not, if you've got an SUV, get the seats out of the back, get everything cleared out so you've got as much room as possible. You don't want to have to be jimmying things around when you're at a dealer's booth and people are behind you and you're trying to load your car. I always make sure that I just get a couple mats of carpet. They're like 3 feet by 4 feet, and I just shove them in the back. It kind of protects the car. I know you can get more expensive ones that are made for your car, but these are really handy. And if I'm buying things that are really rusty and dirty, I just flip them over so that the carpet itself doesn't get ruined. You can't live at one of these things without having one of these carts. When I started going to these markets, I got the larger carts. They're about $20, but I found that this smaller cart, they're collapsible, are really handy. You can get a bag to put in it and everything else that I might be using during the day when I'm away from the car, because you could be parking a long way away from where the fields are. I like, in Brimfield in particular, to try to find a parking spot where a donation is being made. It may be a few dollars more, but I'm at the First Congregational Church here in Brimfield, and it's a couple dollars more, but it all goes to the church. One other thing you want to remember is bring the materials that you might need to safely get your pieces home if you're not going to be shipping them. Bring some bubble wrap. I bring not only bubble wrap, but I also bring small containers. They're like Chinese carry-out containers. I bring Ziploc bags. I have all sorts of things, because sometimes I get jewelry and I just don't want a little plastic bag that the dealers, they're really not here. It's enough effort for them to get their products here, so they don't bring a lot of packing material. Bring your fabric samples, bring your paint samples, be prepared. Another thing that I find I can't live without when I'm up here are something to wipe your hands with, because you are really plowing through all sorts of things, and Lord knows what you can pick up. So bring something to clean your hands off with. Bring rope in case you're tying things on the car, bungee cords in case you need things together. I wasn't a Girl Scout for nothing, and all that training came in handy. Little did I know when I became an adult, these outdoor fairs, I was going to use all my training tips from Girl Scouts. I forgot one thing. You really have to be aware of how you're dressed for these outdoor markets. Yesterday it was 70 and sunny here. Today there's 30-mile-an-hour winds, it's drizzly, and it's cold. So make sure that you dress in layers. Bring a hat if you need it, sunglasses for sure. I'd also bring some suntan lotion, because it can be brutal, particularly here in Brimfield at the July show. It's hot. And most importantly, wear comfortable shoes. The last thing you want to be thinking about is your feet when you've got a mile to go down the road and you can't get back to your car to change shoes, or you don't have Band-Aids with you. So just make sure you have that. All right, there's a lot of shopping to do, so let's get going. I'm here in this great booth of Central Asian pieces. There's everything from antique furniture to jewelry, and John Boz is going to tell us a little bit more about it. I love your booth.
Thank you very much for coming, and all our things has been coming from Central Asia, and especially from Pakistan. It's all bordering area, Afghanistan, on the way, which is calling the Karakoram Highway, to China. For example, this wooden plate, they are all from Swat Valley, and it's part of traditional. They are eating at that time out of this.
Wow.
And I've been collecting these things for over 30 years. I've been in that business. And this is like, for example, the chapan, what we call them. Chapan, it's a coat. It's all silk, all stitched with a needle. And the material has been woven. And it's a beautiful thing. So even looking at it's all natural dye, hands. I mean, it's all from organic vegetable dye.
Well, I could see a piece like that. I'm sure a decorator would look at that and say, okay, I'm not going to wear it, but I'm going to frame it on beautiful silk behind glass.
That's right. People really love it. For example, there's a cushion which is over there, and people love it because everybody like to have decorative cushion in the house, and it really look wonderful to have them in your bench or or in your chair.
Oh, yeah.
It's also feel good, but this is something natural.
Yes.
If
Well,
you-
and it gives a splash of color. You may have a very dull room, and it gives you the splash of
That's
color
true.
and a splash of history.
Also color and also natural. Something natural is natural.
Yes.
Like some things, what are you making with the effort? It's one thing. So are you making something commercial? Is different.
Yes.
So these things are made originally with the love of people. That's different.
Well, tell me about the doors. I see the carved doors behind us. They have to have quite a history.
That door is from Swat Valley, and I believe that's like 80 or 100 years old. And that's a main gate for the house where they use them. And now here, most of these go to the houses, so they will, redecorate their houses with, or put them nice in plaza. Or you can see the window there, or there's another window mirror out there, and that's originally is a window, and we convert them to a mirror, so that people can use them. It give a good feeling. Even if you look at them, you touch them, you put them in the house. Even for example, this ball, if you put them in the house, you can see them in a lot of magazines where you have them decorative magazine. If you put them fruit and put them on top of the table, it look wonderful.
Well, and if you have the luxury of renovating and you are going to purchase a door or a mirror,
Yes.
you just have your carpenter measure to that,
That's right.
and all of a sudden you have instant ancestry in your home. It's
That's right.
beautiful, and you don't have to travel to the Middle East.
No, you get them here.
Oh,
That's right.
John Boz, this has been so wonderful talking to
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so very
Thank
much.
you very much for coming.
And good luck
And
with the show.
Thank you very much.
I'm sitting in a booth with all of these fabulous rugs. You obviously are going to use them for the floor, but there are also smaller versions of these rugs that you can use on your dining room table. Buy several of them, they're inexpensive, and use them as a runner. So think outside the box. Think about different things you can do. If you see a window, you might get rid of the window panes and put a mirror behind it. You might buy one of these Middle Asian windows and actually use it as a coffee table. Get legs from some junk store where you like the legs of something else, remove those legs, put them on the bottom of the door, slap a piece of glass on top, and you've got a real conversation piece for a coffee table. I happen to have a Moroccan door in my living room that has glass on it, and it's wonderful. So just think outside the box, think of different uses for things as you're walking through these markets, and I know you'll find something unusual that you'll love. We're here at the Mad Hatter booth here at Brimfield, and this is treat. This is such a treat. It's candy for the eyes, and my friend Tom here is going to tell us a little bit about how in the heck did you get started with this collection?
First of all, this is my passion. It's not what I do for a living.
That's clear.
I run at major department stores as a logistics manager for them and an operations manager for them. But this is what I really love to do. So I do shows, do the Brimfield shows actually, and I do a couple other shows in New England as well. But I started just coming here with my grandparents a long time ago.
Oh my gosh.
Just as a collector, picking up little things, but I was always drawn to vintage because my grandmother was an impeccable dresser.
Of course.
And
That had to be
so-
somewhere in the
yeah,
family.
So it just kind of started like that, and then I started collecting loose light handbags probably about 20 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Pretty much when you could pick them up at Brimfield for like $25 or $30 a bag.
And just stashed them away?
Just stashed them away. They were like little lucite, little art deco sculptures to me.
Really?
And my collection actually exceeded almost 1,000 bags at one time.
Oh my gosh! Now, do you keep these at home? Or?
Yeah, at home, but like anything else, once the collection becomes too big, you got to start selling and
Yeah.
weeding out, for lack of a
You
better
come to
word.
Brimfield.
You come to Brimfield. So that's what I started doing about 10 years ago.
Now, tell me, Tom, who are your customers? Are they all over the world and all
I
over
have
the?
customers that come from all over the world. I sold a beautiful black chantilly lace dress this afternoon to someone who came from Japan.
Wow.
Yeah.
And do you find that there are trends even within the vintage world?
Absolutely. Sometimes dresses are really hot. Vintage dresses are really hot right now. Lucite bags are very hot. I know
Really?
they're kind of on the other side. and
Like
you-
mid-century or?
They're from mid-century,
early?
about 1950 to about 1960.
Okay.
They're very, very hot right now.
Well, I mean, it's such an accessory, but these outfits, I see Hollywood starlets wearing vintage gowns and vintage hats. and-
Absolutely. I mean, some of the dresses on these racks are beautiful by designers like Seal Chapman, Howard Greer, Schiaparelli. So, I mean, I've got some really beautiful high-end dresses here. And, you know, the prices are a little high, but you know what? When the customer comes and they see that Seal Chapman label or Howard Greer label, they're going to come and they're going to buy it. And everything here is hand-picked and it's meticulous.
Well, and you're not going to see yourself at another party. I mean, that's the one guarantee with vintage
Absolutely.
clothing. You're the only one wearing it.
Absolutely.
Well, tell me a little bit about this hat collection. It's fabulous.
Again, like one thing led to another. I first started with the handbags, and then it was like, well, I kind of picked up a few of these along the way. I'm enamored by florals. To think that a milliner sat here with a wooden block and
right.
a piece of blank netting and created these beautiful, beautiful pieces of art just amazes me every single time.
Well, I think with the royal wedding, you may have more interest in these hats, and I'm hearing about these fascinators. Have you
Yeah.
heard about these? Where it's kind of
A fascinator is actually just a very small, cloche type hat with some kind of wild embellishment, usually that has some kind of movement to it when you walk. Here's a collection of 50s purses that kind of was an offshoot from my collection of Lucite bags. Just found one of these actually at a vintage store, not at Brimfield, and the collection took a life of its own. The 50s poodle purses, to me, they really epitomize what the 50s are all about. I mean, it's all about the big poodle, it's all about the big bag and the Kelly-shaped bag, and I just think they're fabulous. Got them in a lot of different textures, as you can see. There's patent leather, there's straw. Different companies make different type of dogs and poodles on them, but they're all beaded and they're all original.
Well, I wish you all the success here. I know you don't need my good wishes, but everything is fabulous, and best of luck. And thank you for taking the time to talk with us
Thank
today.
you. I appreciate you coming here.
Thanks, Tom.
Enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Something to remember when you're looking at vintage items. Remember that they're fragile. You don't want to have your dirty hands after having lunch all over these beautiful hats and these fine pieces of clothing. Some of them are very fragile and, needless to say, valuable. But have fun when you're in these booths and think in terms of what else you might be able to do with some of the items. You might find a small fur collar that would look great on a coat that you already have at home. Or you might want to take the fur and cover buttons or perhaps put them on the collar of a blazer or a sweater. But the point is, these are little pieces of history and they make such a statement in your wardrobe. So have fun, and I know that you will. Oh, I see something over there. So you're looking for new chairs, but you don't want the normal chair like everybody else has. There's a great booth here at Brimfield called the Recovery Room. They take unusual chairs and make them more unusual by bringing them up to speed with wonderful fabrics. You can see these examples right here. I love these. They not only match my outfit, but they've got these great tassels. So there's a little touch of whimsy with them. These Parsons chairs also, they've got great piping on the side. They also have a great little matching pillow. So if you think that you're just going to be coming here and finding bric-a-brac, you're totally wrong, because you can get these wonderful custom pieces right here. And I spotted a piece behind me that the owner, Jean, is going to tell me a little bit about. I believe it's an older chair. Jean, can you tell me a little bit about this chair? I think you did a beautiful job.
Hi, thank you. Hi. You could take a piece, especially the old pieces, were traditionally done with a damask and old traditional fabric that would typically make pieces like this look very stiff. And what I tried to do is show people that you could take a piece that's been around for 100 years or more, which most people don't have in their homes anymore. They're throwing it away after 3 years. That you can make a piece like this useful again. And you do that by the fabrics that you choose. You could take fabrics really dictate today what people can or can't do with pieces, and some pieces, style-wise, lend themselves to be able to be brought up to a level for which you can do a lot of different types of decorating with. And you also have a piece that, has been made in the past, so you're carrying on the tradition of keeping that a piece of American history alive.
Well, not only is it American history, but as you say, those chairs that you're throwing out in 3 years, they probably need to be thrown out.
Yes.
The fabrics aren't as strong, the wood itself isn't as strong, so you've got a solid piece here. They're lovely pieces.
And not only that, but over a 20-year period of time, if you look at how many pieces you're throwing away, you can actually, buy one good piece of furniture and have it last you for 20 years and then do it over again because you're sick of the fabric versus throwing it away in 3 years. So, we've always been a very green trade. I've had this business for 24 years, but society has lended itself and has changed a little bit because technology drives our society today. So with that, everything becomes disposable. What you knew now, you're throwing away because it's becoming obsolete.
Right.
So everything in people's lives has become focused on that because technology drives our lives so much. But it's just amazing, the stories, that I have seen lost now because people are throwing away the old pieces from their grandmothers and their mothers, and with that is the stories too that get passed down that you forget about, like, oh, I remember this piece, when my grandmother used to rock me in it.
Absolutely.
Those stories aren't there anymore.
No.
And that's, to me, is a very sad thing to see that's happened, and that's what keeps us connected.
Well, thank you for preserving it. Your
Well,
booth is
thank you.
gorgeous, and I hope you have a great show.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks, Jean. We're at the Thoroughly Antiques booth here at Brimfield. They're based out of Concord, Massachusetts. And the reason I stopped here was I really want to remind everyone that one of the big trends in decorating is bringing the outdoors inside. And this booth is a perfect example. Everything that's here could either be used outside or inside. These wonderful concrete planters are a great addition in a dining room on a buffet or outside. Same thing with these wonderful concrete balls. I could see them in a contemporary loft in New York City or in your backyard in the garden, along with this gorgeous antique watering can. They're getting harder and harder to find, so finding these collectibles, it's really quite a treat when you find one that's in great shape and reasonably priced. You'll also see there's a great shutter behind me. I think I'm going to go price that in a minute. That looks wonderful on a wall by itself. It almost becomes like a piece of art, a piece of sculpture per se. So I think you've got to, again, think outside the box, think of bringing your outdoors inside, and enjoy the hunt. We were talking about thinking outside the box. This item is a perfect example of that. It's actually a chicken feeder, and you can imagine the chickens sticking their heads in there when it was full of feed and just having their lunch or dinner. But I've seen gutters used this way, and this is a perfect thing that you can do. You get a wide roll of ribbon. You slide the ribbon in this way. Then where the ribbon comes off the reel, you pull it underneath the wire, and you could put 20 different colors of ribbon in this and use it as your wrapping station. So for less than $30, you've got something that really is useful, and it's just from thinking outside the box when you're at an outdoor antique market. I'm here at Sandstone Gardens with my friend Max. This is the most incredible booth. It's one of my favorites here at Brimfield. The pieces are gorgeous, and it's really garden statuary, but Max will tell us a little bit more about where we can use these pieces. Right, Max?
Yeah, statuary typically is traditionally an outdoor element, an accessory, but in recent decades, it's really been prompted more to accent the home as well, and not just strictly outdoors. But they're great accent pieces inside the house, and so it's not strictly a one-dimensional element as it's traditionally thought of.
Absolutely. And I'm curious, How did you amass a collection like this? I
Well,
mean,
it's
did you start with?
when we started this a side project when my wife and I were first married 25 years ago in a one-car rental garage. It
Oh.
was a side supplement income, and one thing just led to another, and then it became a full-time process. And then our travels with the business brought us out east more and more. And we were at the Boston Flower Show when people kept telling us, you gotta look into Brimfield, you gotta look into Brimfield. So we've been doing this for 11 years now, and it's a fabulous environment for us, in that our statuary, even though it's new in reproduction and that we design it and make it, we have that element that the patina makes it look like it's an antique, and so you get a wonderful piece at a great price point
Absolutely.
without actually having to buy an antique per se.
Now tell me about these fountains. I see you have all different sizes. I mean,
Uh,
obviously that's for outside, but do you
right,
find
right.
that a popular item also?
Yeah, we sell all types of fountains out here. Some of them are our own copyrighted designs that we've done, where we've sculpted them out of clay. Some of them are reproductions that possibly came over from Italy or different places.
Wow.
And we have a lot of different price points. Our fountains go anywhere from $200 to $2,500.
Goodness.
And fountains are just therapeutic. You just love to hear that water.
Very zen, isn't it?
Exactly,
Yeah.
and it's just a soothing element. And I mean, a lot of customers come into here, especially during the July, the hotter months, and
Yeah.
and I'll tell them, you may not feel cooler, or you may not be cooler, but at least you feel cooler while
You
you're in
certainly
here.
do.
So, but
And something caught my eye when I was coming into your area here, and it was a sundial. Can we go over and tell me? You
Sure,
can tell me a
sure,
little bit of the
sure.
history on that. It's
Definitely.
just beautiful. This is one of the best looking sundials I've seen in any of the fields here.
I've
Tell me about it.
I've wanted to pursue this end, and that there's a lot of reproduction sundials that are just the cheaper brass and things of that nature. And I get asked from time to time about them, and so I've been keeping my eyes open. And this particular piece I bought here at Brimfield a year ago, and
Oh
it
my
was
gosh.
hand-carved slate marble, and I knew I would be able to reproduce it and sell it at a naturally better price point. And our in-house will actually make this gnome. I have a guy that does some welding for us at the shop.
What is
And
that
so,
called?
the gnome. It's
The
a G-N-O-M-E,
okay.
strangely
Okay, all
enough,
right.
just like an elf would be spelled. But it's just a great accent, and they actually do take perfect time.
They do?
Yeah, and I've been keeping my eyes on it the whole day. But it's just a great accent. It's a great conversation piece, and it's just great to have that old-looking element
Oh, it's
in your garden.
beautiful.
Yeah. So.
Well, so I guess the moral of the story is, as visitors, we get inspiration from Brimfield and these outdoor markets, but it sounds like you do too.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's just fun to get in each one of these fields. You get different ideas, different concepts. There's always something new going on.
Yeah.
And I wish everybody I knew, even from the Midwest, could come out and experience Brimfield once.
It's a hoot, isn't it?
Once you're out here, it gets in your blood, and
does,
you
it
just keep
does.
coming back. So.
Well, Max, thank you so much for spending time with us,
Oh,
and I
it's
hope
been
all
my-
the visitors that come up here stop by your place.
Well, it's been my pleasure, believe me.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Okay, so let's say you have spent all day trying to find metal folk art. Well, here it is. But you have a big question. You've negotiated a great price, but you're trying to figure out, how am I going to get this goat back to my car, or this rabbit, or this rooster behind me? You've got your cart, but it's still not big enough. Well, what you will find, you will love: porters. There are porter stations all over this market. And if you find a porter, it's just a local guy. He's got a cart. He'll tell you how much it is depending on where your car is, and he'll bring it back to your car. Might be $5, $10, and you can get something back to your car. Or at the end of the day, you can pay the dealer, come back with your car. At about 4 o'clock, they allow cars to come in here, load up all your bargains from all over the market, and head on home. So don't be intimidated by pieces that are oversized. There's always a way to get them. Where there's a will, there's a way. So happy hunting. I'm here with one of my favorite dealers at Brimfield. Terry has the most interesting architectural elements, and don't forget, if you're renovating a home, it's a great time to think about architectural pieces that you can work into your own decor. I have to ask though, Terry, whatever started you here at Brimfield? It's such a wild place, isn't it?
It's kind of the hobby that ate Brooklyn.
Oh.
I worked in a corporation, and quite frankly, I just had enough of it. I was restoring an 1860s house, and I needed a lot of older elements.
Bingo. Yeah.
Found a fabulous building surplus, building wrecking company in Rhode Island, and I started going through it and found elements that were extraordinary.
Like a treasure hunt, right?
Well, I was in King Solomon's mind. It was fabulous. I filled the restored house with them to the extent that we couldn't get in it.
Yeah. Sorry, honey.
Yeah. Exactly. So I then had to find more.
Unload stuff.
More,
Yeah.
Not sell more.
Oh, okay.
And eventually it led me to Brimfield. And now I find myself with a tobacco drying barn in Connecticut full.
So that's a problem?
Well, it depends on which side of my family you're talking to. My wife thinks it's a real problem.
Well, I'm glad you have that problem and that you're bringing some of the pieces here, because it's fabulous. I love your space. I never miss it when I come here, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
nice
Terry.
talking with you.
Okay. So you finally found the item that you would like to purchase. How do you go about negotiating for it? Well, you want to respect the dealer. Many dealers are already so fairly priced that you really don't need to bargain, but there might be some place where, maybe a place like this where you're buying 5 baskets and you can get a little better price. The most polite thing to do is to say, can you do a little better on this, or do we have any wiggle room on this? And work with the dealer and you'll both be happy. Well, I'm here at the packaging store with Chris, and he's going to tell us exactly how they make life so much easier. Well, tell me what happens. I know that you get people from all over the world shopping here, right? And
we do.
What happens? How do you help out?
We can pack and ship anything, anywhere, and we just make it simpler for people to do, as they don't have to carry things on the plane.
The people just bring their items here, or have the porter bring it, or do you pick it up?
We pick up larger items. All the smaller items you got to bring here yourself, or you can have a porter do it. But the large items, we'll actually go out in the field. We'll get it for you. Not a problem at all.
That's great. So you know before you leave Brimfield what your charges are going to be, and maybe they get there about the same time you get home, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It doesn't take too long for us to pack it and ship it out.
Antiques have a way of taking us down memory lane. You might spot a toy that you had when you were a child, or a quilt that's like the one that was on your grandma's bed, or a tool that your grandfather used. The nice thing about it is that these are around every corner, and they stir memories in our hearts. All across America, there are countless markets. So if you can't get up to Brimfield, explore your own area. You're going to find lots of treasures, and I guarantee you'll enjoy the hunt. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Leslie Mueller.